This is Article 3 sent to me from Dean Hawke YouTube channel. He started to look into the flat earth theory and decided to go to his local library, and he found over 100 articles in regards to the flat earth. So this one is from the Birmingham Post, Monday, October 24, 1966. Monday Morning, The Plain Truth by W.E. Hall. As an example of indestructible optimism, the International Flat Earth Research Society stands supreme. By all the rules, it should not exist at all. Galileo, you remember, reputedly demonstrated the truth about the force of gravity by climbing to the top of the Tower of Pisa, dropping two weights of different sizes and allowing people to see them landing together. Much the same basic demonstration of an immutable truth may seem to be taking place every time a camera clicks in outer space and records a picture of the Earth with an indisputably curved edge. Each shot a refutation of zetetic cosmogony, the doctrine of the International Flat Earth Research Society. For the society itself, a painless extinction at the hands of modern science. Not a bit of it. The society does not exactly flourish, but it soldiers on, trying to reach young people before they become subjected to the devilish brain conditioning of modern indoctrination, which destroys their God-given senses and faith. I quote Mr. Samuel Shenton of 24 London Road, Dover, the secretary of the society, a retired signwriter and fellow of the Royal Geographical and Astronomical Societies. He is a milder man than these words might suggest. If you indicate that you think his pearl of truth may be paste, he goes patiently over the argument again. Sometimes the argument is difficult because of its devastating simplicity. When I raised the point about a ship disappearing bit by bit over the horizon, thus demonstrating the curvature of the Earth, Mr. Shenton said, "The perspective, of course," and when I looked blank, added, "The vanishing point." The society really started in America in the 1870s when it was known as the Universal Zetetic Society, ZETO, searching to know rather than theorizing, explained Mr. Shenton. It flourished for a while and spread to this country. George Bernard Shaw attended one of its meetings and, during discussion, stood up, said he found the arguments very persuasive, and added that they led him to the conclusion that the Earth was not flat, but a cylinder. Mr. Shenton's own interest in the subject began when he was a boy during the First World War. The example of the Zeppelins induced him to design a massive cargo carrier which would be inflated and raised with its load above the surface of the Earth. There it would stay while the Earth spun until America was underneath, when down it would come again. Mr. Shenton said it was only when he began to go into this that he realized that the people supposed to be experts knew even less about the rotation of the Earth than he did. The intensity of his own convictions did not check the decline of the society, however. After the 1914-18 war, it became moribund. It has really come to life again because of the very thing that should have killed it: space exploration and the evidence of the extraterrestrial camera. Affirmation, as so often, has nurtured doubt. The society is still not exactly booming by conventional standards. There are a dozen or two members. Leicester is the strongest centre. Leicester is the strongest centre. Mr. Shenton, 63, and twice in hospital with heart trouble during the last 3 years, said there is no subscription because he does not feel he can give a proper service to members. But he has lectured widely and often, and there are the letters, 150 of them, in the 7 days before we met. Most people don't bother to send postage, he said. He has been televised and interviewed. One of his latest interviewers was from an American magazine. A highly dressed young woman, very nice. She didn't write shorthand. America is especially interested. One letter asking for information came from someone who lived within 15 miles of Cape Kennedy and said, "I feel that I shall be able materially to further the work of the Society from within the enemy's lines, as it were." Another was from someone employed in the missile section of a large American company. Better not say who it is. He wanted to know something about Flat Earth's theories to help subdue the panic in the event they should be revealed as fact. In this country, there is a supporter on the Court of Common Council of the City of London. Mr. Shenton scouts the established round earth theory for a variety of reasons. So far from feeling that you are on a hill with the horizon falling away on all sides, which is what he says you should feel if you are standing on a sphere, his argument is that the horizon actually rises optically as you yourself rise. If you go up in a balloon, the horizon is the highest point at eye level and the land beneath the balloon the lowest. The apparent curvature of the Earth in photographs he attributes to lens distortion. He bitterly reproaches the Americans for using the Mercator projection for space maps, when the polar projection should show the Earth as it really is. He says that the round Earth theory postulates water with a convex surface. Has anyone ever seen that? He has an answer for everything. He is strong about the difficulties of returning spacemen in catching up with the Earth's orbital speed. When I suggest that the atmosphere was carried round by the Earth, was indeed part of it, he said, "I have counted 5 different layers of cloud going in different directions." A very hard thing to do. The significance of that is that the cloud-bearing atmosphere is going whatever way the heat or the general conformity of the Earth allows. That would never be so if there was the greater thing of the orbital speed. It would all be carried along together. And what does a zetetic universe look like? You must imagine a plate with a pudding basin inverted on it. The basin represents an enclosing membrane. Above it is water. The great flood took place when the membrane was punctured. The plate represents the earth substance, and rising from it is a central column of power, around which the orbits of the astronauts take place, a kind of cosmic merry-go-round. Above this pile 6 more plate basin combinations representing a succession of heavens. That is it, as nearly as we can tell, said Mr. Shenton. I confessed that I still found the ship disappearing over the horizon and the spacemen's photographs very persuasive. "Keep trying," Mr. Shenton said kindly. "I hope you won't pack up just because you are stuck on one point." So that's an interesting one, huh? Shows how in 1966, after the Sputnik photos, but before the astronauts had gone up and done their treasonous lying, or not gone up, that there was still 12 members of the International Flat Earth Research Society and 150 letters he'd had in a week before the interview. So there were people asking, questioning, and in fact some people even realizing that it was an enemy to humanity that was propounding these new fake theories. I hope you enjoyed it.